In quite a lot of European languages, the Hebrew word Shabbat has come through for the Sabbath day, which is our Saturday, but without its observances. In this part of the world, as in Wales, we still have the pagan word. It was the day of Saturn. Now, the choosing of this reading from the Prophet Isaiah on this Saturday, the 1st of Lent, is already there in ancient times. They were aware of their link with the past, our Hebrew, our Jewish roots. And if one goes to Jerusalem, to the Holy Land, one does pick up something of the power of those roots. Already from Friday evening onwards, there is a stillness coming down. Shabbat Shalom, the peace of the Sabbath rest. And they wish each other a good Sabbath. Tov Shabbat. And we, in our Welsh culture at least, when I was growing up, still had a bit of that, I must say, in the Welsh Sunday. It was Constantine who forbade that there should be an obligation to work for the slaves, and that gives us the modern expression servile work that should not be done on the day of rest. We seem to have forgotten that bit. The result is that we are neo-slaves ourselves. We serve obligations that we have made and think that we have no way of breaking. Do we have to have shops open all the time, all the week? If they're open, people will use them. If, as when I was a child, they're closed, they will not use them, and they will feel the difference in the air. There is actually something beautiful about both the Hebrew way of living the whole day of rest and the old Welsh way of living it on the Sunday, with nothing but the house of God as the centre of attention, and family life honoured fully once a week. The meal on the Sunday was a big event. Until the lockdown in Ireland, one could see that what was happening was that the major event was the sports affair, and everything had to revolve around that, including the Sunday Mass, which might well be conveniently anticipated, leaving the day itself free. But free for what? More of the same thing, stress. It's not the same to spend the day of the Lord in a restful mode and posture, absorbing the divine word and also being available to one another in the domestic church, the family, as it is to want one more goal for which much energy and sweat is expended. And so we have this beautiful passage from Isaiah, which has lost none of its value and meaning if read well. If you turn back your foot from the Sabbath, literally, that is, they were keen on not moving around. And we find that in the expression in the New Testament about a Sabbath day's journey, referring to Bethany. I remember being struck by something that the Curé Vaz said in one of his catechisms. He was preaching from the pulpit to his flock, and he noticed two ladies about to leave. Now he knew what they were going to do, and he made of that an object lesson to the parish. Going to make a long journey on the day of the Lord is not the way to honour it. Of course, those journeys were pretty tiring, horse and carriage, but is not in its own way a journey through an airport and all that goes with that a bit tiring too? From doing your pleasure on my holy day. Now, there's some confusion here. It's not quite clear the immediate meaning. Most translations make it more specific. Doing business. On my holy day, and called the Sabbath a delight. There was a wonderful Welsh hymn still sung, Gwna'n Sabbathau'n dyddiau'r nefoedd, make our Sabbaths days of heaven. And I remember when I was a child noticing in my great-grandfather's diary how in the word for Saturday it was Sadwrn, but on the word for Sunday it was S-A-B, Sabbath. Interesting how the transposition had been complete there. And the holy day of the Lord honourable. It's as though for the Jews it was that day that gave sense and meaning to the whole week. It was the culmination of time on a regular basis. Time off, which gave all time an adjusted proportion. God reigned through reigning completely over a chunk, over the whole. And that is actually what Our Lady wanted at La Salette when she was seen to be weeping, partly because the Lord, her Son, had reserved 1 day out of 7 for himself, but the men would not give it to him. And she also complained that workers could not work without taking her Son's name in vain. And that happens a lot in sports events. It's not the atmosphere of listening to the word of the Lord. It's more of the same thing. And God is not honoured in that way. He wants a difference. And by the way, Pope Benedict complained about it in one of his catechisms. He pointed out that to anticipate unnecessarily the Sunday Mass on a Saturday when there's no need at all, so as to have a day without God, is a complete Christian nonsense. If you honour it, not going your own ways or seeking your own pleasure, again the same translation problem here, business, or talking idly, that happens a lot in pubs and matches and buses going to matches. It's not the same as listening to Jesus quietly. Then you shall take delight in the Lord, and I will make you ride upon the heights of the earth. Now, to be riding at that level is to be exposed to the world of the angels. It is far more calming to spend time before the Blessed Sacrament than it is before what? The modern tabernacle. And one needs to ask whether even that, live television uncontrolled, is a contravention of the Lord's will with regard to the delight of his own day. We can't psychologically listen to him and to all this stuff at the same time. We're not superhumans. What goes in stays in and does its work, for better or for good. Abbiamo nella vita cristiana qualcosa della radice ebraica della nostra fede. Il ritmo del tempo è basato su un giorno di riposo che il Signore ha chiesto per lui stesso, e la Salette è un intervento celeste per dare all'uomo questo messaggio dei tempi moderni. La Madonna piangeva e suo figlio aveva riservato un giorno su 7 per se stesso, ma gli uomini non vogliono darglielo. Mi ricordo, essendo giovane nel Galles, era osservato, tutto era diverso di domenica e era una tranquillità nell'aria, tempo per la parola di Dio, culto prolungato, non una volta ma 3 volte la domenica, perché si faceva catechismo il pomeriggio, tutto circondato di bellezza imnologica, armoniosa. La gioia delle cose di Dio. Se noi vogliamo essere efficaci e creare ancora più stress dal giorno del Signore, abbiamo perso controllo. E allora che l'imperatore Costantino ha vietato ormai di comandare ai schiavi di lavorare di domenica, noi siamo diventati di nuovo schiavi da un ritmo che noi stessi abbiamo creato.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta